It is the recognition of the good in our lives, and it encourages us to focus on the positive, to cultivate a sense of contentment, and to foster a spirit of generosity. So thank you all for being here. We will start today's program with the national anthems of the United States of America and India. May I request you all to please. Sharan Dev, please. We have with us Sharan Dev. Some are not here yet, but are expected. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, Mayor Sylvester Turner, Robin Alcat, Mayor Missouri City, Welland City Council Alex Kamkar, State Representative Suleiman Lalani, Mayor Stafford Ken Matthew, Councilman Member Carol McCutcheon, Judge Surendran Patel, State Representative Ron Reynolds, State Representative Jean Wu, City Council Member Rushi Patel, Representative Ron Reynolds, and State Representative John Rosenthal. We also have with us Jay Guerrero from Senator Cornyn's office, Birdie Kelly, liaison for State Senator Boris Miles, Jennifer Knessick from State Senator John Huffman's office, Brian Pendleton from Commissioner Leslie Briones' office. There he is. I'd also like to welcome Honorable Martin McVeigh, Consul General of Bangladesh, Honorable Anna Paula, Consul General of Angola, Honorable Consul General G.T. Zerenkalk, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing. How's that? Namibia, Honorable Lyndon Rose, Consul General of the Bahamas, Manuel Solano, representing Consul General of Mexico. Thank you all for being here. Okay, and now it is my pleasure to introduce.
Some of the consulate they are still on the tour. I think they're still coming out from the tour. So.
All right, they'll be here after the tour, right. Now I'd like to introduce IAPAC President Rupa Gair. Most of you know her. Rupa is our fearless leader, and she is the chairman of IAPAC, a social venture in Houston that works with schools, school districts to engage college students as co-teachers, mentors in underserved elementary schools. She has an energy background and has worked with SLB for over 30 years. Rupa, I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Thank you all, and a very warm welcome to all of you to come during this festive season, but also we know with a lot of turmoil that is there in the world, and that is why we selected this venue, the Gandhi Museum, to host it. And later on you'll have a chance to talk to or meet with one of the co-founders of the Gandhi Museum who will say a few words about the museum. So I'd like to share some insights on what IAPAC is. It stands for Indian American Political Action Committee. It's a non-partisan organization that is the voice of over 200,000 people of Indian origin living in the greater Houston area. And it is very important to recognize that IAPAC is not just an organization. We are an incubator for political leaders, a platform for civic engagement, and a catalyst for fostering international relations, and an unwavering advocate for the concerns of our, the community. And IAPAC, we believe, is actually shaping the future of our community. So I'm thrilled to mention that just recently, this year in 2023, we launched a new initiative called Conversations Over Coffee. And some of the folks present here, I know Jatsurendra Patel was part of our Conversation Over Coffee, Judge Ravi Sanal, our elected official Rishi Patel from the city of Pearland, city council member, he also participated. So basically it falls into 3 different categories of what we're trying to achieve with the Conversation Over Coffee. The first is educating our community on the governmental structure, including the judicial system, introducing local, state, and federal candidates to facilitate informed voting decision, and addressing pertinent issues in our communities, such as crime, school safety, mental health, human trafficking, and so on. So just to give you a heads up, in February of 2024, our next event is going to focus on human trafficking. And for this, we are partnering with the World Affairs Council as well as the Houston Community College. And I would like to, before I introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi, I would like to invite Mr. Manish Vani to say a few words about the museum. Thank you. We are eternally grateful to them for letting us have this event here at a time of turmoil where Gandhi's message is universal. So.
Namaste and good morning. My name is Manish Wani. I'm on the board of the Eternal Gandhi Museum Houston. And on behalf of the board, a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. We're so thankful and proud that you're here to visit our museum. We opened our doors on August 15th of this year. We had our grand opening celebrations on October 2nd, which is Gandhiji's birthday, under the auspices of Dr. Rajmohan Gandhi. He actually made the trip from Chicago to do the ribbon cutting and whatnot. This has been a project of ours that we started about 6 years ago. We have really a lot of people to thank, but I'd especially like to just point out The architecture was done by RDLR Architects, led by Lori Westrick. The interior, or the heart and soul of the museum, which is the galleries, and hopefully most of y'all have had a chance to see this. This was done by a company in Louisville, Kentucky. They were called Solid Light. And they did the design, the fabrication, and the installation of all the galleries on the inside of the museum. They were led by their CEO, Cynthia Torp. And then the construction was done by TDK Construction, and that was led by Tina Cuttrey. This is, like I said, a 6-year project. The construction took 2.5 years. We're very thankful to the mayor's office for their support, the congressman's office. They led a nice $3 million grant for us. Fort Bend County, we got a grant. It's a $10 million project. The community has been very kind, and we do believe we've added just another jewel in our great crown of our city of Houston. So we're very thankful. What I would say is, please tell your kids, your neighbors, your family, your friends, our success depends on people to come in and see the museum. And I do believe we have a message to give, and there's a lot to be learned on the inside. And so with that, I'll hand it back to Rupa.
Just a couple of more, acknowledgements of folks who are present here. So the Federation of Philippine American Chamber of Commerce, Texas African Chamber of Commerce, these are all the folks who registered. I don't know if they are still outside. The Myanmar American Chamber of Commerce, the U.S.-Mexico Chamber of Commerce, Pete Garcia is supposed to be here. They're coming from another location. The Indus Entrepreneurs, we have the president here. And then the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce of Greater Houston and the World Chamber of Commerce.
Senator, I know he wanted to send me and to share his appreciation for what IAPAC is doing, and also his appreciation for Dr. Rupa Gear, my personal friend, for putting on this great event and connecting with the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi, and also congratulations on this beautiful facility. Senator Cornyn, he founded the India Caucus way back when. He is kind of the master of bipartisanship. People say there's no bipartisanship in Washington, D.C. Well, he founded the India Caucus along with then Senator Hillary Clinton. And if that's not bipartisanship, I don't know what is. He remains the co-chair of the India Caucus and has a deep appreciation for the Indian community and all communities that make Texas and Houston just a real shining beacon in the nation. So thank you very much.
Since we're still, they're on the way. What?
I was saying we all could just mix and mingle.
So, well, you can't because, you all have to be seated. But I would like to request maybe... sorry. Oh, can I get the... Okay, yeah. So I'd like to request perhaps one of our state reps to speak. We have a couple of them. Would you like to...
John Rosenthal.
John Rosenthal. I know Ron Reynolds is also here.
You have to do that. So it's just you, John.
And also State Rep Dean Booth.
No, he left.
He left.
So we got John Rosenthal. Us Jews need to stick together.
Oh boy, well I was totally unprepared for this.
Thank you, we're on Veterans Day.
And I apologize to you all in advance. I am not near the public speaker that either Ron Reynolds or Gene was. Gene especially, and this sort of thing. But I can say a few words from my heart that I'm grateful to be here today. I'm grateful for this facility that I didn't even know until recently was being built. So, and what a great undertaking, and what a great philosopher and philosophy to embrace the leader, Mahatma Gandhi, and especially at a time such as this, when we see aggression and strife across our planet, but also in our state, in our city. Right now is a perfect time to express this message, to spread the word of peace and nonviolence. We can all express ourselves, embrace each other's cultures without aggression, prejudgment, and it is with our familiarity and embrace of each other that we foster relationships and diminish conflicts. And so with that, I'll just say I'm grateful to be invited, even to speak by surprise, but especially for such a great message. The peace and nonviolence is something we can not only embrace ourselves, but help spread in our communities, through our networks, through our circles, and right now, more important than ever. So thank you so much.
And now I'd like to request Jennifer Knesset, who is here on behalf of State Senator John Upton. She'd say a few words.
I want to thank you guys so much for this opportunity, and that was great. It was really, really wonderful, especially off the cuff. But I just want to thank everybody in this room for showing up. I think it's so important to show up and have conversations and to get to know each other outside. I mean, this is technically work, but this is the best work event I've been to all week. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the museum was incredible to experience, and just the history and being able to sit next to you guys, and then we can always remember this, and we will always have this memory together no matter what we're doing, if we're agreeing or not, because I work for the Senate and he works in the House, but I also want to say Senator Huffman was at the Katie Chamber the other day, and she really gave an example in working together, and how the Texas Senate and the Texas House does work together, and that you have to continue to lead. And so I'm just so privileged to work for her, and I'm so privileged to have the friendship of all of you, especially you, Dr. Baker. You really have guided me in my own life, and so it's just been so much appreciated. But thank you guys so much again, and don't ever forget this, and I look forward to meeting you if you need anything at all. If anybody that you know needs constituent services, whether or not, it's in Senate District 17, Birdie's out there, I love Birdie. She works for Senator Miles, and Birdie gives me a call every once in a while when we have a respectful referral. So if you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out to our offices. It's so important, and we really work together as staff, and so we want to make sure that all constituent services are available to everyone in our community. So please, continue to do the work, and thank you again so much for this opportunity.
And this was set up, I understand, by Joseph Emmett. And you all know Judge Emmett, right? So Joseph Emmett is his son, and he set up the Vedanta Institute. And this goes beyond religion. It's a message of truth and peace. And we're going to hear from Swapnil Gupte on from the Vedanta Institute, and this will be a universal prayer that encompasses, all faiths. So, thank you. And after this, we will hear.
Check. Just a couple of words before we start the prayer. What can one do? What can you do? What can I do? What can one do? So, when we talk about one, that one gets lost somewhere in the middle of this crowd or any other crowd. So when we use the word, what can one do? Why can't we say, what can we do? And then who is this we? Isn't we two people? And half of that two people is you. So what can I do? Right? What can I do? So there was a beach in Odisha. Odisha is a small place, or a state in India. And on this beach in Odisha, in case you're wondering what's happening with the prayer, I'm just taking some time until everybody else comes in. Okay, so in this beach in Odisha, thousands and thousands of starfish come. They are swept away by the ocean. And these swept away starfish have no way of going back. No way. So one day, this is actually a true story. One day a small child was seen running across the beach and gathering the starfish as much as he can, and then going back to the ocean and just throwing them. A wise man who was next to him said, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You know, even if you spend a lifetime worth doing this, it won't make a difference." So the child stopped and said, "To that starfish, there is a difference." So the difference made, whether it is one act, one emotion, or one thought, it is a difference. So we take this opportunity that when we serve, that brings in a sense of gratitude. There is no gratitude unless there is service. So service precedes gratitude, and gratitude comes from within. So we take this prayer that I'm going to say. There are no English translation words, unfortunately. So I'm going to try my best to translate it. So the translation reads, Om. May He protect us both. Both. May He protect us both. May He cause us to enjoy. May He or may we strive together, in brackets, for a better world, for a peaceful world. May our study and strive become brilliant. May we become peaceful and harmonious. So with this effect, let me chant the prayer in Sanskrit. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Garvavahai Tejasvinavahai Tamastu Mavid Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you.
Before we hear from our next guest of honor, Mayor Sylvester Turner, I wanted all, this event would not have been possible without the tireless effort of our IAPAC board members. I'd like to recognize them. If you can all please stand up and be recognized, all the IAPAC board members. I also want to recognize our founding member, Jagat Kamdar. He was supposed to be here, so he's just in front of the room. He's a founding board member of IAPAC. And now I'd like to request Mayor Turner, who's been rushing from one event, and I would say event, it's been funerals, right, that he's been attending today. So to say a few words.
Look, let me say good afternoon, and let me apologize for running late today. It's been a full day, and it's we're here at the Eternal Mahatma Gandhi Museum, And in that same spirit, this morning we started with the unveiling of the monument for Barbara Jordan this morning at the post, which used to be the Barbara Jordan Post Office downtown. And then we had a funeral of one of our servants in the city of Houston, Alvin Bird, who worked with several of our council members. And then there was a couple other events in the interim. Nonetheless, I was determined to be here to be with you this afternoon. Look, it's a great honor to join you and again celebrate the Eternal Gandhi Museum and attend today's Gratitude with Global Cultures and Religious Events. And quite frankly, it speaks to the spirit of Houston, who we are as a community, because we come from all over the globe. In fact, almost a quarter of Houstonians, 25%, come from outside of the United States. And about 150,000 in this area are from India. And so I cannot thank the Indo-American community enough for the contributions you have made to our city. You know, diversity is a strength of this organization and our community. Diversity in culture, religion, thought, language, and race. And I'm looking at the CEO of Alliance, which represents that diversity. Today, leaders from diverse organizations and faith-based groups are joining together to focus on peace, unity, building bridges, and so much more. And quite frankly, if we ever needed a time to do that, that time is right now. I'm pleased to see so many of my friends who organized this outstanding event on behalf of IAPAC, a nonpartisan political voice for Indian Americans in the greater Houston region, especially Dr. Rupa Garg. Please give it up to her one more. I know you didn't ask for it, but that's the way so many great leaders are. You don't ask for it, but are very deserving. And I personally want to acknowledge you. And I'm proud to say that over my time as mayor, the city has created strong bonds with the entire Indo-American community for their extensive work in promoting partnerships between Houston and India. And I would congratulate you for the forming an organization that understood the Indian American community is a significant and growing force in politics and civic life in greater Houston. And as mayor, I share a similar mission to help the local Indian American community connect with government officials to support your businesses and create more local jobs and opportunities. Let me just say this. I see Chief Satterwhite here representing HPD. I see Representative Rosenthal is present, and so many other leaders when I look out into this audience are here. I think we've done well in holding a very diverse city together. I see the representative, Senator Cohen, then Marty McVeigh, one of our consular corps. I think we've done well. But I will tell you, it is not easy to hold a diverse community together. You can be diverse, but separate, segregated, and apart. The question is, can we be diverse and inclusive all at the same time? And that takes work. And if you're not careful, it can splinter. And our times of challenges in this city, and we certainly have had our challenges in this city, what has helped us to be resilient is that when we have faced storms, when we have faced COVID, social civil unrest, what has helped us in this city is that collectively we have stayed together and we have worked together. And it really didn't matter where you came from. You know, we were very respectful of where people have come from and their backgrounds. We also recognize, though, that if you're in this city, you are Houstonian. This is your city. And it's not not like we're talking about foreign countries when we're talking to Houstonians. We all come from different places, but when we're living in this city, we are Houstonians, and this is your city. And what I have seen through some of our most tough times, and especially, for example, with Harvey, when we had 10,000 of our neighbors at the George R. Brown, there were people from representing that diversity that showed up at the George R. Brown, feeding our neighbors, other Houstonians. And when I walked through the George R. Brown, what I saw was like a mall that was set up and people were attending to the needs of fellow Houstonians. When we faced our toughest crisis, is when Houston showed up the best. And then I've gone across this city and I've stood side by side people who were meeting the needs of folk in our respective communities. And I'm looking at you right now, and I want to thank you for that. Be very, very careful that we don't send the wrong signals that will start to separate and pull people apart. Words have meaning, and the wrong words can cause one group to go after the other. And that's not good for the city of Houston. So we have to be very, very careful. The faith community has stood up, joined with elected officials and others to make this the great city that it is. I'll close with this. I come from a large family, not a rich family, but a large family, with proud parents who didn't graduate from high school. But my dad wanted all of his 9 kids to be inside the house at dinner time. And so all of us had to be inside the house at dinner time. But the kitchen table would only hold about 5. And he wanted everybody to eat at the kitchen table. And so he would say to all 9 of his kids, your mom has prepared the food. There's enough for everybody. But only 5 of you can be at the table at one time. So he would say, 5 of you go to the table, sit down and eat. And 5 would go to the table and sit down and eat. The rest of us were sitting on the couch or on the floor and we were waiting. After my dad thought that the 5 who were sitting and eating had been at the table long enough, he would walk into the kitchen and tap you on the shoulder and say, you 5 have been at the table long enough. I've got some others who are waiting. So you 5 get up, and the other 5 of you can come to the table. Let me tell you the lesson that I saw in that as a young kid growing up in a household with limited means. While the 5 were eating, the rest of the 4, we never fussed, we never fought, we never yelled or screamed at the others who were sitting at the table, because we knew that we were going to have an opportunity to sit at the table, and that those 5 were not going to be there forever. My dad taught us that if you take care of everyone, and if everyone knows that he or she will have an opportunity at the table, no one needs to fuss or fight, because everyone will have a seat at the table at some point. That's how I've chosen to govern the city of Houston. And that is, no one can sit at the table forever, even if you've been at the table for a long time. Because in a diverse community, as long as that diversity believes that they are going to have an opportunity to serve, everyone can work together. That is a part of building a city with gratitude, with global cultures and religion, because no one dominates. We live in a pluralistic society, and we watch over our brothers and our sisters. If we do that, the future of our city is great. And leadership doesn't start at the top. Quite frankly, leadership starts at every table with every person, recognizing the value of each other. So thank you so very much. Thank you for allowing me to be the mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. And now I'd like to invite Congresswoman Sheila Jackson-Lee to say a few words. And she's between us here, the speech, and the lunch. So after this, because we were going to do a prayer, but I understand everybody got delayed because of the funeral. So I'd love for you to come and say a few words, and then it'll be followed by lunch. After Sheru will do the vote of thanks and then. Thank
you. Well, Dr. Rupa, let me just say that having been filled myself by what I know has been some miraculous and spiritual comments, and then to come in and hear the mayor give us an added filling of good words and good thoughts, that means it gives me about 2 hours, because they're already full on the wonderment of the words that have been spoken by our mayor and others. So just wrap yourself around the good words, and you'll feel very full. And so you won't think that you're missing the lunch quite yet. But I'm delighted to be here briefly and to see council generals and a representative from Senator Cornyn's office, Jay. You seem to be in good places. And thank you very much. Let me just quickly say, Chief, it's good to see you. Good to see those who are committed to the social justice fabric of this city. Good to have had and been blessed by a mayor, and really our mayors who have chosen to bring us together. And that is what I've lived with. All of you who brought us together. What a wonderful experience to be able to serve in the United States Congress and to track the journey of Dr. Martin Luther King back to India, to walk into the house of Gandhi, to be able to look at the friendship that they established. Many of you may know that it was Gandhi's journey and message that inspired Dr. King's focusing on a nonviolent movement, of which he was, in times later, sorely criticized, that this wasn't going to work. Because as Gandhi recognized, he too was experiencing a pushback on whether or not we could finally be free, or that India could stand up and be free, or that you could have an India and a Pakistan, or you could resolve this dominance by the British rule peacefully. So I just simply have come to say, let us not think, because both Gandhi and Dr. King were of the last century, the 20th century, that the voices of nonviolence should be silenced. Whenever you go around this city in my new hat, the next mayor of the city of Houston, people are wrapped up and frozen by the idea of crime and the violence. I happen to believe that we will win that fight, not only with our law enforcement, which are more than just HPD and should be, but we'll have to win it with our public and private and our coming together of faith leaders and the people in this room. We'll have to win it with a unchallenged and a commitment that does not waver to nonviolence. To those of us who believe in it, to live it in our life circles, to speak about it, to continue to have meetings like this, to call upon the thinking of Dr. King and Gandhi. Dr. King was stabbed, was spit upon. In Chicago, he had bricks thrown at him. And we know Gandhi's journey as well. In each instance, he maintained, no matter how challenged he was, a sense of peace and nonviolence. And as we're on this political journey right now, a few days from now will be concluded, I cannot help but take up the same calling, that this election should be on issues. It should not be the color of your skin or the religion that you choose. We must seek peace around this city. We must be proud of the richness of our diversity. No one's difference should be used against them. It should be used to enhance us. And as I've indicated, this very journey is going to have us known in the nation as a city that knows how to overcome and a city that can walk in peace. We did it in 9/11. We've done it in trials and tribulations of natural disasters. And we will do it as we go through our challenges of crime, our challenges of hunger, our challenges of housing. Houstonians, we will do this together. And we will bring up the new standard of we shall overcome. And we will hear the words said, not that we shall overcome, but we will hear the words we have overcome. Thank you. Go in peace, go in happiness, go in success, and go in victory. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. And now I have the distinct privilege to ask Congressman Al Green to say a few words. And I think after this, we will have lunch.
Well, thank you for all the smiling faces. It's a pleasure to come in and see people who are smiling. I work in Washington, D.C. Don't get to see a lot of smiles on the floor of the House. But thank you. For those who do not know, the food is delicious. I got my plate on the way in. And I was reluctant to eat it, but the mayor gave me the okay. So the mayor says it's okay, and I'm going to do it. So Mayor, thank you so much. Oh, friends, it really is an honor to be here today. You know, this is my first time visiting the museum since it's been completely constructed, and I am so enthralled with what I see. It means a lot to me to see this, and to see all of you here today, it means a lot as well. Let me just acknowledge my colleague who just spoke, Congressman Jackson Lee, and I want to acknowledge the mayor. And I only do this because the mayor is making his final tour, as it were, to my regret. I believe that if we didn't have term limits, we'd have him for at least an equal amount of time that he's already served, at least that. So I'm sure that you've already given him a big, rousing expression of appreciation, but he's my friend, and I ask that you just give him one more expression. my comments will be these. These are some turbulent times. They really are. And we need the characteristics of Gandhi. So let me just explain what I believe to be his greatest strength. He, of course, was a lawyer, understood the law, and that's a good thing, in my opinion. Don't hold it against us, because we have these law degrees. But that was not his greatest strength. And yes, he was a man of peace. My colleague has spoken eloquently on the topic of peace, and I commend her. And this is not to in any way take a scintilla away from her excellent recitation, but peace was really not his greatest attribute. Because, and the same thing with Dr. King, there are many persons who are intellectuals, very smart people. There are many persons who believe in peace. But here's the thing that many of them don't have that Gandhi had. Courage. Courage. You can be an intellectual and you can be for peace, but if you don't have the courage to take a stand, sometimes when no one else will stand with you, the truth is, it's better to stand alone than not stand at all. And that's what made him the person who could make the change. If you don't have the courage, people won't know that you know what needs to be done, what needs to be said. They won't know. It takes courage. And that's what these times call for. Courage. Injustice in the name of justice is still an injustice. You cannot cleanse an injustice by simply saying I'm doing a just thing because I have a just cause. It takes courage. It is easy to follow the herd. It is difficult to move antithetical to the herd. It takes justice. Gandhi had justice. And I'm proud to have been a part of the establishment of this excellent facility. I hope that as the years pass, we'll always remember to let people know that it was his courage that made all the difference. I love you.
So I know that I'm standing between lunch and the delicious spread that is out there, so I'm going to make our vote of thanks very brief. We of course want to acknowledge Mayor Turner for being here and for taking the time to spend the morning, the afternoon with us. We also want to thank Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for being here, and of course Congressman Al Green. Thank you so much for your time. We know you had a really busy morning, but you still were able to give us your message of peace, gratitude, courage, and that means a lot. I also want to thank all of our elected officials who are here today, who sent us their message virtually. Our wonderful, wonderful keynote speaker, Mr. Raj Mohan Gandhi, who has provided us with a message of not only peace, but also empowers all of us, one person at a time, to make a difference in our communities and in the world that we live in. So we are truly grateful for that. And then, of course, we all know the amazing Rupa Gair, who has done such an incredible job. She's the glue that keeps all of us together. But thank you, Rupa, for bringing us all together, for all the work that you do behind the scenes. Samya Asan, who is the chair of this wonderful program today, so many thanks to her for her leadership. Our board members, Naveen, Purushottam, Gaurav, all of you have been a wonderful team to work with. Without you, this event would not be possible. And then, of course, the wonderful Gandhi Museum for making the space available to us. Just being here is an inspiration in and of itself. So thank you again. I won't keep you from the delicious lunch, so please enjoy. Feel free to bring your plates back in here, mingle, get to know each other, and continue the message of peace and gratitude. Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here. All of our elected officials, our dignitaries who've taken the time, especially when we had to kill some time to wait for the mayor and all of them. You made it very special. So we really appreciate you being here and thank you for your time.